welcome to Keep It 100 Philippines. This video is going to be an update on the BIR announcement where they are again warning influencers, vloggers, TikTokers, and all that, and all those people to pay their taxes in the Philippines. And this doesn't just go for Filipinos, it's also for foreigners. There are many foreigners that are doing that in the Philippines now, and some of them are still doing it on a tourist visa for many years, making lots of money in the Philippines, but not paying even 1 peso to the Philippines government. Tax evasion is a serious crime. Look at all the people who have gone to prison in the United States and Canada for tax evasion, but it's a problem that needs to be fixed with the new government rules, regulations, and visas. So what's happening now is the BIR is warning these vloggers, you better start, and influencers, you better start paying taxes and declaring your income. In Canada, we had a similar problem. In Canada, the Canadian Revenue Agency had to literally hire a bunch of people to go through many hours, countless hours of videos, of live streams, and of comments, everything, looking for signs of hidden wealth, where many of these influencers and creators would be declaring basically a poverty level income, but then they would be living in a nice house or apartment and driving in a nice car. A plus B does not equal C in that case. Clearly there's something going on there. And then you also have those vloggers in the Philippines, those foreign bloggers in the Philippines who are on the 9A for years. They keep renewing it, and they are doing everything you're not supposed to do on the 9A. They're basically running a business there. They're basically working there. They're basically having paid partnerships, selling merch, doing all this other stuff, even doing video work for hotels and resorts. Some of these vloggers have even shown on their channels that they're doing videography work and marketing for the hotels. That's not allowed on the 9A. Like, who are they kidding? And how are they getting away with that? And then the fact that many of these are also, they're in the Philippines, and they own, sure, they might own a condo there, which is allowed. Foreigners are allowed to own condos, but they say they're tourists. They've been there most of the time for years, but they still say they're tourists. That is not a tourist. A tourist does not stay in a place for years and leave only a couple times a year and keep going back. That is not a tourist. By definition, that is definitely not a tourist. So the second part of this video is the great news about the digital nomad visa coming soon to the Philippines. This visa will be good for so many foreigners who want to work remotely and who have the ability to work remotely. And now they can actually have a proper visa in place. So let's just have a look here at the announcement for the digital nomad visa. Now, this was last year, but it says right on the announcement that it should be coming in early 2024. So it shouldn't be much longer now. The expected requirements. Interesting thing is the proof of employment or income. You don't have to actually have a Western employer. You can have proof of a self-employment to be a digital nomad. That's interesting because not all countries allow that. But when it comes to vlogging, being self-employed, you would have to be a big-time vlogger to prove that kind of consistent income to get a digital nomad visa and do vlogging. I think this is a much better situation for those that actually have a remote job. That's pretty much what it's for. Of course, there's freelancing and different, working, being your own boss, entrepreneurship, and stuff like that when you're a digital nomad. But you got to prove that income. You can't just go there and say, oh, I want to be a vlogger. I mean, that's not going to work. Unless you're already an established vlogger that has a consistent income, then you might be able to get this visa. But you sure as heck aren't going to get the visa if you just want to go there and think you're going to just do some vlogging in the Philippines. It ain't going to work that way. So interesting thing too is on the actual announcement, they say that they mention the internet and how the internet is good in the cities, but it can be spotty outside of the cities. And I think that's very good that they actually announced that on their actual digital nomad visa press release, because that's important. It's important to tell the truth that the internet in the province in the Philippines is usually shitty. And you have situations where if you are working and you got to be in a meeting, like a Zoom meeting, or you have a deadline and you're going to lose the internet, you got to know that. And of course, now we have, Starlink and there's other things. Starlink's super expensive, by the way. We have that in our cabin up in central British Columbia. It's so expensive. So there's the announcement for the digital nomad visa coming soon, maybe even in a couple months to the Philippines. Philippines might not be the first choice for most digital nomads in Southeast Asia. Of course, that would be Bali or Thailand. But the Philippines now, if they actually have a proper visa and they can market that visa, and now a lot of these foreigners that want to do things the right way, they want to follow the rules and do things the right way, can go to the Philippines for a few months and work there remotely and then actually pay, and then the Philippines will benefit from that. Digital nomads are basically just that. They're nomads, so they're only in a place for a year, maybe less. So that would be good news. We bring more people in. At the same time, they're paying their taxes, and then the Philippines benefits and the government benefits. So as far as the digital nomads go, it's good for the economy because now sometimes they're making like a Western salary. Now they can spend it in a much cheaper country. But there is a bit of a negative thing here, and the country needs to be very careful about this, because when it comes to gentrification, and when it comes to the spike in the values of property, in the rent, in food prices, inflation, this can be really affected by a lot of foreign money coming into an area. Even if it's a small area, it can really affect it negatively for the locals, and we got to watch that, because not only is that unfair to the locals to compete with foreign income and foreign wealth, but it's extremely unfair. But it's also could create a backlash toward foreigners, toward normal foreigners who just want to live their life, and now all of a sudden you have locals who hate them, and then groups like the NPA and other leftist groups are going to jump all over this. So this is this is the thing we got to think about: gentrification. The Philippines government has to welcome digital nomads and welcome foreigners, but watch very carefully about the gentrification and don't allow that to happen. And we've seen problems with it in Mexico. In Mexico, there's huge problems with that already, and other places too. Gentrification, Mexico City, some locals just simply priced out. And you think, okay, that happens everywhere. It happens in Vancouver. All the Asian money coming to Vancouver priced a lot of Canadians out. Well, it's a much different situation when a lot of the people are very poor. That's so unfair. So anyway, it's a positive thing. The digital nomads come and spend money in the country and not be exploiting the 9A visa, like some of them have been. But watch out for the gentrification, because that can be a very, very negative result of digital nomadism and expats. Thank you for watching. Please let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll have a video coming out. I'm going to have lots of videos here. They're going to be coming fast and furious here after quite a hiatus, but thanks for watching.